Wichita, Kansas, a city of wide-open plains and close-knit vibes, stands at a crossroads. Beneath its bustling businesses and bright future, a deeper story unfolds. People facing the harsh reality of homelessness. This isn't about stats or fleeting headlines. It's about the resilience and hope of those unsure where they'll sleep tonight. In this Homeless in America journey, we'll go beyond numbers to meet real people, sharing their struggles and quiet strength. From families hit hard by rising rents to veterans seeking a fresh start. Their stories reveal systematic gaps. We'll explore Wichita's hidden corners, amplify unheard voices, and push for a city where everyone has a home. This is about connection, not just observation. What's it like to live without a home here? And how can we ensure no one's left behind? Current state of homelessness in Wichita. The reality of homelessness in Wichita is both stark and deeply human. According to the most recent data from the United Way of the Plains, the 2024 point-in-time pit count, conducted on January 25, 2024, identified 691 individuals experiencing homelessness in Wichita and Sedgwick County, a slight 1.5% decrease from the 702 counted in 2023. Of these, 503.73% were sheltered in emergency or transitional housing, while 188.27% were unsheltered, living on sidewalks, in cars, or in makeshift encampments under highway overpasses. Among them, 111 were chronically homeless, meaning they've lacked stable housing for at least a year within the past 3 years. These numbers, while critical, only scratch the surface of a crisis that's as dynamic as the people it affects. Shelters in Wichita, operated by nonprofits, faith groups, and mission organizations, provided an average of 1,200 bed nights per month in 2023. Yet, during peak winter weeks, demand outstripped supply by about 15%, leaving many without a safe place to sleep. Transitional housing programs, supported by federal HUD grants, offer longer-term support. But with a 30% annual turnover rate, the path from temporary shelter to permanent housing remains fraught. The unsheltered population has grown, with a 25% increase in 2024 compared to 2023. Mirroring trends across mid-sized Midwest cities where low vacancy rates around 4.7% and rent increases outpacing wages create a perfect storm for housing insecurity. Who are the people behind these numbers? Families with children, making up 12% of the sheltered population, navigate the chaos of shelter curfews while trying to maintain normalcy for school drop-offs. Single adults, comprising 60% of the unsheltered, often grapple with untreated mental health issues or substance use disorders. Local outreach teams estimate 55% face serious behavioral health challenges. Seasonal shifts add another layer of hardship. In January 2024, sub-zero temperatures pushed shelter occupancy to 110% capacity, prompting volunteers to distribute over 2,000 blankets and meals to those on the streets. In summer, soaring heat drives some to seek shade along riverbanks or in city parks, forming informal encampments that strain public resources. Demographically, Wichita's homeless population mirrors broader social patterns. Since 2021, 142 veterans have sought assistance, 38 young adults have aged out of foster care, and 64 seniors face housing insecurity amid mounting medical bills. Black individuals are disproportionately affected, representing 25% of the homeless population despite being just 10% of Wichita's total population. These stories of interrupted lives and deferred dreams remind us that homelessness in America isn't just a statistic. It's a human crisis that demands our attention. Each number represents a person with a story, a struggle, and to hope for something better. If these realities move you, consider engaging with this issue by supporting local efforts or sharing this narrative. The question now is, what broader social and economic forces are shaping this crisis in Wichita, and how do they intertwine to keep people trapped in instability? Social welfare issues and their impact. Homelessness in Wichita doesn't exist in isolation. It's woven into a complex web of economic pressures, healthcare gaps, and housing shortages that amplify vulnerability. With a population of approximately 397,000 in 2023, Wichita includes nearly 60,000 people, about 15%, living below the federal poverty line. This group encompasses single-parent families balancing childcare and part-time work, seniors surviving on fixed Social Security incomes averaging $16,000 annually, and working poor households earning just above Kansas's minimum wage of $7.25 per hour. For these families, basic needs like groceries, prescriptions, and bus passes compete for scarce dollars, often leaving rent as the expense that gets cut. When a one-bedroom apartment averages $950 a month, consuming 40% of a median renter's income, stability becomes a luxury. Nearly 1 in 4 Wichita households, 24%, is cost-burdened, spending over 30% of their income on housing. A single setback, a $2,000 medical bill, a $1,200 car repair, or a sudden utility spike can spiral into eviction. With a rental vacancy rate of just 4.7%, tenants face long wait lists, strict credit score requirements, and income thresholds often set at 3 times the rent. Even full-time minimum wage workers struggle to qualify for market rate units, pushing them toward overcrowded apartments or emergency shelters. This economic precarity is a key driver of homelessness in America, and Wichita is no exception. Healthcare access deepens the crisis. ComCare, Sedgwick County's behavioral health authority with a $55 million budget, handled over 18,000 mental health crisis calls in 2023, but maintains 30-day wait times for outpatient counseling. Substance use treatment beds operate at 92% capacity, leaving many without access to detox programs. Rural clinics outside Wichita face a 20% funding shortfall, resulting in gaps in primary care that lead to untreated chronic illnesses and unaffordable hospital stays. Domestic violence survivors, accounting for roughly 1,200 emergency shelter stays in 2023, face overcapacity transitional housing, with nightly turnaways forcing some back to dangerous situations. Youth aging out of foster care, approximately 150 annually in Wichita, are particularly vulnerable, with only 40% accessing support programs like job training or financial literacy. Without these resources, many slip into precarious living situations. Seniors, too, struggle. Nearly 8,000 receive Meals on Wheels weekly, yet 30% report difficulty affording rent or utilities. These gaps, economic hardship, healthcare deficits, and fragmented systems, create a cycle of instability and stigma. Through a travel documentary lens, we see not just problems but people, each navigating a maze of systemic barriers with remarkable resilience. What forces are fueling this cycle, and how do they interlock to perpetuate homelessness in Wichita? Root causes of homelessness. At the heart of Wichita's homelessness crisis lie 5 interconnected drivers, each compounding the others to create a relentless cycle. First, the shortage of affordable housing is a primary culprit. Over the past decade, rents have outpaced wage growth, shrinking the pool of units available to families earning less than $25,000 annually. Municipal incentives often prioritize high-end developments, leaving low-income residents with few options and fueling a market that favors investors over vulnerable tenants. Wichita's affordable housing deficit, estimated at 50,000 units, underscores the scale of this challenge. Second, economic instability keeps many on the edge. Wichita's economy, once rooted in manufacturing, has diversified into service and gig industries, but these jobs rarely offer a living wage. Minimum wage workers live one missed paycheck from displacement, and the gig economy's lack of benefits like health insurance or unemployment protections adds further precarity. This economic fragility is a common thread in homelessness in America, where systemic inequities leave low-income households vulnerable to sudden shocks. Mental health challenges and substance use disorders form a third driver. With preventive care scarce, individuals often reach crisis points, hospitalizations, or incarcerations that disrupt housing stability. Upon release, without coordinated support, many lack a stable address, which becomes a barrier to jobs, benefits, and reintegration. Local estimates suggest 55% of unsheltered individuals face serious behavioral health issues, a statistic that highlights the urgent need for accessible care. Fourth, domestic violence and family breakdown push many, predominantly women and children, into homelessness. Safe houses in Wichita operate at capacity, and transitional housing programs struggle with inconsistent funding. Survivors face agonizing choices: return to abusive environments or risk life on the streets. In 2023, 1,200 emergency shelter stays were linked to domestic violence, underscoring the scale of this issue. Finally, policy approaches like encampment sweeps and camp bans often displace rather than resolve. Intended to maintain public order, these measures scatter unsheltered communities, making outreach and service delivery harder. The result is a reactive cycle where individuals are moved without addressing their underlying needs. These root causes, housing shortages, economic instability, health crises, family breakdowns, and counterproductive policies, form a complex ecosystem that demands thoughtful, compassionate solutions. How is Wichita responding to these challenges, and what steps are being taken to break this cycle? Government solutions and initiatives. Wichita's response to its homelessness crisis reflects a city determined to move from crisis management to meaningful change, blending policy innovation with community collaboration. At the forefront is the Coalition to End Homelessness in Wichita/Sedgwick County, formerly known as Impact ICT, Continuum of Care, a multi-stakeholder group established in 1994. This coalition, led by United Way of the Plains, brings together nonprofits, faith-based organizations, government agencies, businesses, and formerly homeless individuals to address homelessness holistically. By coordinating resources, applying for federal grants, and identifying service gaps, the coalition works to make homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring. In 2024, it secured $3.6 million in HUD Continuum of Care funding to support 14 local programs, including rapid rehousing and permanent supportive housing. The Housing First program, launched in 2009, is a cornerstone of Wichita's strategy. Unlike traditional models that require sobriety or employment as prerequisites, Housing First prioritizes immediate housing for chronically homeless single adults, paired with wraparound services like rental assistance, utility subsidies, and case management. Participants, many of whom face disabling conditions like mental illness or substance use disorders, contribute up to 30% of their income toward rent, though income isn't required to join. Since its inception, the program has achieved an 84% reduction in arrests, and an 83% reduction in jail stays among participants, proving that stable housing can transform lives. Complementing Housing First is the Rapid Rehousing Program, which targets individuals and families with shorter homelessness spells by providing time-limited financial aid and landlord mediation. The program helps people move into permanent housing within weeks, easing shelter overcrowding. In 2023, Rapid Rehousing efforts housed 1,433 individuals, though 17% returned to homelessness within 2 years, highlighting the need for sustained support. Social workers collaborate with landlords to resolve disputes and expedite housing inspections, ensuring smoother transitions. The Wichita Police Department's Homeless Outreach Team HOT plays a key role in referrals, diverting individuals from jail to services whenever possible. A bold step forward is the planned Multi-Agency Center MAC, approved by the Wichita City Council in March 2025. This one-stop hub, partially funded by a $5 million allocation from federal COVID-19 relief funds, will co-locate health clinics, job training, legal aid, and shelter beds by reducing logistical barriers, like shuttling between agencies or enduring long wait times. The MAC aims to streamline access to care. The center's development, backed by a $3.2 million federal grant, is a testament to Wichita's commitment to integrated solutions, though its location remains under discussion, with sites like the former Riverside Hospital being considered. Despite these hurdles, Wichita's initiatives show promise. The Homelessness Task Force, meeting bi-monthly, continues to refine strategies, incorporating input from those with lived experience. As we reflect on these efforts, the question arises, what more can Wichita do to build on this foundation and address the gaps that remain? Proposed future directions. To move toward a future where homelessness is rare, brief, and non-recurring, Wichita must expand its efforts with bold, multifaceted strategies that address both immediate needs and long-term systemic issues. First, increasing the stock of affordable housing is critical. The city faces a shortage of 50,000 affordable units, a gap that fuels the crisis. Wichita could adopt inclusionary zoning policies, requiring developers to set aside a percentage of new units at below-market rates. A dedicated housing trust fund, seeded by modest property tax increases or developer fees, could provide a stable revenue stream to acquire and preserve affordable units, reducing reliance on sporadic federal grants. Such structural investments are essential, as they lay the groundwork for lasting change, much like the infrastructure that supports any thriving community. Prevention is another key pillar. It's far more cost-effective to keep someone housed than to rehouse them after eviction. Wichita could scale up emergency rental and utility assistance programs, targeting households on the brink of losing their homes. Legal aid to contest unjust evictions would further protect tenants by embedding prevention teams within social service agencies. Outreach workers can proactively identify at-risk families, those facing sudden medical bills or job loss, and connect them to tailored support before they hit the streets. In 2023, local efforts prevented homelessness for thousands, but more robust funding and coordination could save countless more. Integrating health and housing services is equally vital. Currently, ComCare and community clinics operate in silos, forcing clients to navigate a fragmented system. Wichita should invest in mobile health units staffed by multidisciplinary teams, social workers, nurses, mental health counselors, and peer navigators who can deliver care directly in encampments, shelters, and low-income neighborhoods. Coordinated intake systems and shared data platforms, like the Homeless Management Information System (HMIS), would ensure seamless follow-up. In 2023, ComCare handled over 18,000 crisis calls, but 30-day wait times for counseling highlight the need for faster, more accessible care. By meeting people where they are, Wichita can address the health challenges that often perpetuate homelessness. Employment support is another critical piece. Wichita can partner with local businesses to create transitional jobs, roles in city maintenance, cleaning, or beautification projects that offer structured work experience and stipends to cover living expenses. On-site coaching and punctuality, teamwork, and financial literacy would build skills and confidence. Partnerships with technical colleges could provide scholarships for in-demand trades like plumbing or HVAC maintenance, opening pathways to stable, middle-class jobs. In 2023, employment barriers were a significant hurdle for the homeless, with many lacking the resources or training to re-enter the workforce. Employment support is another critical piece. Wichita can partner with local businesses to create transitional jobs, roles in city maintenance, cleaning, or beautification projects that offer structured work experience and stipends to cover living expenses. On-site coaching and punctuality, teamwork, and financial literacy would build skills and confidence. Partnerships with technical colleges could provide scholarships for in-demand trades like plumbing or HVAC maintenance, opening pathways to stable, middle-class jobs. In 2023, employment barriers were a significant hurdle for the homeless, with many lacking the resources or training to re-enter the workforce. Reducing stigma through community education is essential to build public support. Misconceptions about homelessness, that it's solely a result of personal failure, often hinder collective action. Wichita could host regular story nights where formerly homeless residents share their journeys with neighborhood groups, schools, and faith communities. Local media could produce short documentary-style profiles, highlighting the resilience of those who've overcome housing insecurity. Public art, like murals depicting everyday heroes, would further humanize the issue. These efforts, rooted in authentic storytelling, can shift perceptions and foster a sense of shared responsibility. By weaving together housing, prevention, health, employment, and community engagement, Wichita can create a resilient ecosystem that not only responds to homelessness but works to eliminate it. The question now is, how can we ground these strategies in empathy and personal connection to ensure they truly transform lives? Personal perspectives. Wichita's homelessness crisis cuts deep when you focus on the people. The 691 counted in 2024, including 111 chronically homeless, aren't just numbers. They're individuals with dreams, fears, and untapped potential. Homelessness in America isn't only a policy issue. It's about valuing everyone's dignity. Programs like Housing First and Rapid Rehousing succeed because they start with a simple truth. A stable home is the foundation for a new start. When Wichita builds affordable housing, it's not just constructing apartments, it's showing everyone deserves a place to call home. Community effort is where change happens. Churches, local clubs, and businesses can step up, volunteering time, donating goods, or hiring folks from rehousing programs. I've seen one church partner with transitional housing and make it clear, you belong here. Businesses employing program graduates prove second chances matter. To tap into this spirit, we need ongoing talks and shared commitment. When neighbors come together, say, at a storytelling night or a cleanup event, they create a Wichita that includes everyone. Policy-wise, we need approaches that prioritize people over red tape. Strict rules and tricky forms often block those who need help most. I support flexible, person-centered solutions. Case managers tailoring support, adaptable funding, and systems that hear clients out. In 2023, the Coalition to End Homelessness served 3,082 people. But gaps in resources and coordination limited progress. Combining data with real-world know-how can build solutions that last. It's all about empathy. Policies should uplift lives, not just solve problems. How do we put these values to work and make Wichita's vision happen? Conclusion. Wichita stands at a pivotal moment. Its existing programs, Housing First, Rapid Rehousing, and the planned multi-agency center have laid a strong foundation. Yet the persistent rise in unsheltered individuals and systemic barriers demand renewed focus. By investing in affordable housing, scaling prevention, integrating health and housing services, bolstering employment pathways, and fostering community empathy, Wichita can shift from managing homelessness to resolving it. The 2024 PIT count's slight decrease to 691 homeless individuals shows progress, but the 25% increase in unsheltered residents signals urgency. This collective endeavor requires everyone, government, nonprofits, businesses, and neighbors working together. The same spirit that drives a compelling travel documentary, revealing hidden stories and inspiring action, can guide Wichita's efforts. Homelessness in America, and in Wichita specifically, is both a policy challenge and a moral imperative. When the city affirms that every person deserves stability and opportunity, it strengthens its entire community. May this journey spark not just awareness, but action, propelling Wichita toward a future where home is a universal right. As we close this chapter, the question remains, will we rise to the challenge and build a city where no one is left without a home?